And so it looks not like now. It just kind of, I don't know. I mean, by most like graphical standards today, like if you looked at like Halo 5,
Yeah.
Halo 5 looks so much better.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
It's not an open world game.
that is true.
Yeah.
But also, like it kind of has this style with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like for a lot of the time, style can go a lot of the way for like graphics. Because like in Skyrim, the graphics are great.
Yeah, the graphics are.
But the style that they go with, which is just like gray,
Yeah.
white,
Mm-hmm.
and the occasional splash of brown,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
made it look like I was looking at nothing a lot of the time.
Because like going back today and playing Skyrim, because we've been doing that a little bit.
Yeah. And Oblivion.
It's kind of starting to look like a dry dog turd now too. like it's like it looked great when it came out, and like the same calls for like your original Gears of War and like
you go back. There's
Mass Effect 1.
when it loaded.
When it loaded finally. Like that's part of why I can't play Mass Effect 1. Like it's just
You enter a room,
Playable.
everything is untextured.
unplayably buggy. Like it's not everything's untextured. It's just like I can't like do anything because like my dude's derping out. Like I don't understand. But like going back to Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Fallout 4 does have a visual style unlike some of those games did.
Yeah.
Like Oblivion has a visual style.
God.
Even though that the game does not look exceptional now, it did at the time.
Yeah.
But
like you go out, like you start out in the dungeon and you're like, this looks like really dark and blah. And then you go outside of the sewers for the first time, you're like, oh my god,
you go out.
There's so much color.
Yeah, you go out in the world and like everything looks. It doesn't look great, but it looks like it looks like it's supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
Like there are inconsistencies in the way Skyrim is built because it's a big picture game.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at anything close up, don't do that. it's not good.
Let me look at this wall.
But like,
that looks like garbage.
yeah, it looks like garbage. Yeah, but like Fallout 4, like everything looks like it's supposed to look like that. Like
You look at the ground and there's a pile of garbage.
Yeah.
Literally.
it looks like garbage. It does look like garbage. But
Garbage looks like trash.
Garbage does indeed look. That was my real problem with the game, was they made garbage look like trash, and they made trash look like garbage. But like,
This game is awful.
This game sucks. No, but like, even though there are clearly prettier games out there, the game just has so much depth, and it feels alive,
Like,
kind of like in a way a lot of games don't.
And like the mechanics in this, like there's actually mechanics.
There are mechanics.
The guns are actually guns instead of rapid fire bows like it was in the other two Fallout games that were made by Bethesda.
Oh, partially made by Bethesda.
Bethesda made the engine and Obsidian used it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically the same, only one of them is prettier, and that is Fallout 3. Because New Vegas was a desert.
Obsidian's
Have
gonna need
fun
some aloe
when
vera
there's
for that
nothing
burn.
in there. I don't like New Vegas. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
But this one,
oh my god! Oh my sweet lord!
compared to 3, the area, like the map itself, and we've only discovered like the top left quadrant Yeah. Like, there is so much more that we haven't even seen.
I've discovered way less than you, and I'm still, like, overwhelmed by how large it is. It's so...
It's not just how large it is, but how filled it is.
Yeah.
Like there's more people, like, there are more things in the world, like buildings and shacks and whatnot, than there actually are people.
Yeah.
It's like in 3 there was a lot more people at times than there was things, which was kind of weird.
And there was a lot more open area than there was people.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a lot of wasteland part of it.
Yeah, which, like, is what it's supposed to look like, but it looks like a dog turd.
Yeah. But in this one, like, there's actually, like, clusters that used to be a town. There is actually, like hills and valleys that there are bridges, bridges that people have made over these creeks of radiation. And they're not just like old abandoned highway bridges and whatnot and overpasses.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of those. And in a 50s world, there weren't a lot of those yet.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense. But in Fallout 3, they were like everywhere, and they were like the only set pieces to distinct this plane of nothing to the other side of this plane of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you've entered a new area. Here's a highway.
Like,
fascinating.
It's a weird feeling. Like, the world of Wasteland Boston, which is what Fallout 4 takes place in.
The Commonwealth, I think it's called.
Yeah, they call it the Commonwealth, but we'll just call it Boston because we're humans. But
we're not synths.
Yeah. But it's the world that it takes place in. Like, it feels like a world, and it looks like a world, as opposed to, and I've said this several times, a dry dog turd. And it's like it feels alive in a way that no other Bethesda game has. Like,
at the beginning, like when you first come out and you try to first start exploring, it feels dead.
Yeah.
But it's kind of supposed to.
Yeah, it's supposed to. It's like it's a weird effect that it has upon the player. Like, you're walking out, like in Fallout 3, you walk out of the vault and all you've known is that vault.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really expect there to be anything out there. Like, you don't expect anything. So, like, that's kind of the way the player feels. Like, the player's doesn't know what to expect, doesn't know
anything.
what they're looking for. But the way in this one, like, you start out before the bombs fall. Like, the
story is like you start out in the pre-war, and then you go into the vault because the bombs have started to drop.
Yeah.
And you go into the vault, and they put you in cryo sleep, because like each vault has like a different experiment, and this one happened to be cryo.
Yeah, their experiment is like experimenting on the effects of cryo sleep on people who were not aware they were going to be cryo-frozen.
Yeah.
And, which is interesting. Like the whole world is.
Mm-hmm.
Like
all of Vault-Tec does these weird experiments.
Yeah.
Like in Fallout 3, one of them, they put like this drug in the air ventilation to where basically anyone that was in there went insane. And they were testing them on this. Like, what are the effects whenever they go insane? And they start having hallucinations.
One of my favorite ones because I did play a little bit of Fallout 3. One of my favorite ones was one that's part of the main quest line. It's like you go into this vault, and like everyone's like in this simulation, like a simulation of the world from before the bombs fell. Mm-hmm. But like it's kind of like,
reality.
It's kind of like this weird 1984 type thing. Like, oh my god, they're watching. Like, don't do anything that they might dislike.
Yeah.
Like, it's creepy and scary. Like, the world that it takes place in is a charming one. Like, it's charming, and the writing is funny at times. Like, it's this weird black humor, But like at the same time, like it's kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
Like the world that it takes place in scares you, but makes you laugh at almost always in the same breath. Mm-hmm. Like you're screaming and laughing. You're like, but like it's a weird effect. Mm-hmm. But like back to what I was saying, like you start out, you're not expecting anything. But in Fallout 4, you start out before the bombs fall. So like you know the world before the bombs fell.
Yeah.
Like you built a life before the bombs fell.
You have insert job description here.
Yeah. You are a suburban American living the American dream. You're like you
got
have
your robot butler.
You have your robot butler.
Codsworth,
you have your
which is awesome. We'll get to him.
Awesome. But you have your robot butler, you have your beautiful wife, you have your beautiful baby, and like, oh yeah, the baby's kind of the worst character model, but you know,
the baby's kind of terrifying.
We can assume it's a beautiful baby.
It doesn't blink.
We don't know. It's an unblinking horror crime against nature.
And it sits there and does this in its crib.
But you know, it's yours. It's yours. You love it. You love it for who it is.
You love it for 5 minutes, and then the main quest starts.
Yeah. But, Sean!
Which is basically the reverse of Fallout 3.
Yeah.
To where,
in Fallout 3,
we won't spoil anything, but you're looking for your son.
In Fallout 3, you're looking for your dad.
In Fallout 4, you're the dad looking for the son.
Yeah. For
reasons we won't mention here.
Yeah. But the effect that it has upon the player is like, oh my god. Like, the world is gone. Like your world is gone. You're starting out in this. You start out in this lush, beautiful, 50s future Boston.
Think the Lionsgate neighborhood in the 1950s Back to the Future part, to where his neighborhood isn't created yet, and there's just that poster of the happy family in the house that will look like everything else in that neighborhood, and that is basically what you knew.
Yeah.
That is exactly how, because the 50s.
Yeah. It's like the picture of 50s happiness. And then all of a sudden, it got
blown to shit.
It's destroyed. Your whole life is gone.
Added to what just happened, which we won't disclose.
Adding to what just happened, which is spoilers.
Buy it, play it, love it.
Oh my lord, it's so good. But
we'll give you more reasons in a second when we finally start talking about the game.
Yeah, it's just the effect that it had upon me as a player. Like, I just feel so different role playing as this character than I did from in Fallout 3, where I basically. It's kind of designed to make you feel nothing.
Mm-hmm.